Hey everyone, my name is Jack. Welcome back to the channel. I cover a variety of topics as they relate to personal finance, real estate, investing, the markets, and all that sort of stuff. So if you like that sort of content, definitely take a look around the channel. And if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. But about 4 months ago, I did a video talking about how the Tesla stock bubble had burst when its stock price hit about $400 after reaching a peak of nearly $900 in February, and I made that video back in mid-March. Well, 4 months later, it's back. Tesla stock has gone on a meteoric rise all the way up to $1,500 and has flirted with $1,600, and who knows if it's not there by the end of the day today, since this stock price has been going absolutely insane. For a couple weeks, we had multiple days in a row where Tesla stock was rising by about 10% each day. It was a really insane rise, and right now, we're still at the very top of it. With a market cap of nearly $280 billion now, that makes it more valuable than Toyota and makes it more valuable than Volkswagen, two gigantic automotive firms, both of which have a ton of car models, a ton of sales, great brand reputation, and are venturing into electric cars themselves. Its current market cap makes it more valuable than Hyundai, GM, Honda, Daimler, Ford, and Nissan combined. We are really at an insane valuation right now. And I love Tesla as a company. Full disclosure, I really think they're going to do well in the long term. They have a really great business model, a very interesting and definitely driven leader who will lead them to success, I think, as long as he's hanging around and doesn't get booted by the SEC or have some sort of regulation block him from doing things. I think he's in a really great place. Elon Musk and Tesla are doing great things. They have a lot of great technology. They have an amazing infrastructure that's getting better each day. So I really think it's going to do well in the long term. But this price is just insane. Tesla has recently become profitable, at least in its last earnings reports, and seems to be on the uptrend, which is great. It's going to be great for the long-term health of this company. It's not going to need to dive into a bunch of debt or something to maintain operations. It's producing enough revenue, and there's clearly a lot of demand for Tesla cars, and also they have a lot of different ways to diversify their income with things like solar energy, and that's also great. So they're really a rock-solid base right now for a greater upswing in the future. But the current price makes it as though Tesla is already going to become some monopolistic, insanely indestructible electric car company that will just have this insane moat and nothing's going to be able to take it down, and as though there's no risk in where it's at right now. That's what the price to me seems like. Now, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube ranting about Tesla. You can take my opinion for whatever you think it's worth. Just so long as you don't use my opinion for financial advice, I don't really care what you do with it. But you really have a lot of people pouring money into the stock right now, despite the fundamentals not really pointing to that price right now. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, you can say that about a lot of stocks in the market right now, and being out of touch with fundamentals and really the entire stock market for many different reasons, including the Fed and all that sort of stuff. But right now, this price that Tesla's at just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense from a risk-reward perspective. Because this price makes it as though Tesla's actually going to reach all of their goals without a real hiccup, or it's just going to be able to bash through them with no problem. But running a giant company is incredibly hard, and growing a company is perhaps even harder. So to pretend like there's going to be no problems for Tesla is dangerous, and personally, I don't think it's worth the risk reward to put a ton of money in Tesla right now. I do own Tesla stock. However, to continue pouring money into it is really kind of concerning. I'm actually kind of tempted to sell my shares right now. I don't really have shares. I have a bunch of fractional shares in M1 Finance, but it's a decent sum of money, and I could lock in those gains right now. I'm not sure. I really just never expected them to get to this price so quickly. So now it's kind of like, well, do you hold on for the long term? Maybe they will reach this price, but it's just getting so high. I don't know when it's going to stop. Because it has to stop at some point, right? It's not as though Tesla can go to infinity, though maybe some people believe that. I don't know. And it's no wonder that it's a super highly shorted stock, because people see this as a bubble, since the definition of a bubble, according to Investopedia, is an economic cycle characterized by the rapid escalation of asset prices followed by a contraction. It is created by a surge in asset prices unwarranted by the fundamentals of the asset and driven by exuberant market behavior. Now, we've definitely had a lot of crazy behavior in the stock market lately. We saw the Hertz rise. That was clearly a bubble after bankruptcy. Just insane. We have a lot of people throwing a ton of money into the market without knowing what they're getting into. They see a stock that they've heard a lot about. Maybe it's on the trending tab on Robinhood. There's been a lot of news about that where people will pour money into these trending stocks just because they happen to be trending. It's right in front of them. They think, oh, I don't want to miss out on this rise. And you get a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out, and it just kind of creates this positive feedback loop that drives the asset price up. That's really what a bubble is. Bubbles are usually caused by that positive feedback loop of people putting money in because they think it's going to go up quickly, and if they miss out, then they're going to lose, so they don't want to lose those profits, so they just keep putting money in, and eventually that money either runs out or something triggers it to where people have to start pulling money out of the market, or they're scared of losing now. And then you get the same positive feedback loop in the opposite direction, where people will start selling on top of one another as the stock goes all the way down and they chase it to the bottom. I don't know if that's going to happen with Tesla, but I wouldn't be surprised, just given how high the stock has gotten so quickly without really a true fundamental change in the business itself. It has shown signs of being like it's going to be a great company in the long term. And that's great. We want companies to do well in the long term. That creates positive economic growth, creates jobs, creates cool products. We love all that stuff. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and pretend like a company is actually more valuable than it is, because that's where a lot of harm happens when it comes to a downturn. People pile their money into something without knowing what it is, or maybe not understanding the risk reward of something. And then when the risk actually shows itself, the reward quickly vaporizes, and then people are hurt because they weren't expecting it. And I also want to address the news about Tesla potentially heading into the S&P 500, which there's a few requirements that they have to meet. I won't go into those in detail, but people are expecting them to make it into the S&P 500 because they are a giant firm right now, bigger than a lot of the companies already within the S&P. So if that happens, that means Tesla will be added to the many S&P 500 index funds out there that so many people are so in love with. I'm invested in those. Lots of people are invested in those because it's done very well over the last 100 years and hopefully will continue to do well. But if that happens, you're basically going to have a lot more short-term demand, theoretically, for Tesla stock. And that might cause an even higher spike in its share price. But I'll actually include a link to a video that Graham Stephan did recently talking about this very thing. And interestingly, what happens after this is you get a quick short-term spike usually when a company enters the S&P, and then that quickly wears off over the next couple months and goes back down to whatever its fundamental median prices, whatever its normal price is. So there's kind of a high when it enters into the index fund, and then it goes right back down to where it theoretically should be. So just be aware of that too. Yes, there might be a spike when Tesla enters the S&P 500, but everyone knows that. So everyone's buying into Tesla expecting that spike. So is it really a surprise if everyone expects them to be admitted into the S&P and they end up getting admitted? There's no surprise. The value would theoretically be priced in already. Again, I could be wrong, but be careful when you're dealing with that sort of thing too, where you think you have some sort of information edge. Since right now it seems like everyone kind of expects them to enter the S&P 500 sometime very soon. So that benefit might not really be there for very long. And that's assuming it's not already completely priced in already. We'll see if I end up having to make a Tesla bubble has burst again video. We'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully it just keeps going high forever and becomes this amazing company that takes over the entire world. Everyone's in flying electric cars and it goes through Elon's tunnels and all that sort of thing. And we're all on Elon's world. And then he brings those Tesla cars to Mars and then he owns Mars. Maybe that's what people are pricing in. They're pricing in the fact that Elon will have 100% control of the Mars market as well. Maybe that's what I'm missing as an investor. Maybe you already know that and I didn't. I'm not saying don't invest in Tesla. You do whatever you want with your money. There's a chance that Tesla goes all the way up to $10,000. It could go even higher. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen with stock prices. But do be very careful whenever you're investing in any stock, especially one that has so much volatility like Tesla. You never know what it's going to do on any given day. It might skyrocket. It might plummet. You never know. Please be careful. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Just wanted to kind of warn people about this whole trend with Tesla. Just be careful when you're pouring money into any one company, especially one that has the euphoria around it like Tesla. It can be very dangerous and can hurt you financially. Make sure you're not investing with all of your life savings if you want to have some security in the event that Tesla flips over and its stock pricing goes back down to where I think it fundamentally probably should be right now. Hopefully it doesn't hurt a ton of people. Maybe Tesla will stay here forever. You never know again. But just keep an eye out for news on Tesla. I think any positive or negative news with Tesla is going to cause a dramatic shift in stock price, I would assume, just because of how volatile it is right now and how many people are invested in it. And many of them being newer investors on Robinhood, for example, who maybe don't have a ton of experience with stock investing and might get scared at the first sign of a stock going down. Some positive news might blow the roof off that stock price yet again. Some negative news might bring it tumbling back down. We'll see, and I'll definitely be covering it either way. If you like this video, please like it since it helps the channel out a lot. If you like this sort of content about the markets and stock investing, definitely let me know in the comments below and I'll make more content like this. Otherwise, if you want to see any more of my content, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my new updates as I talk about the markets, real estate investing, my own personal ventures with stocks and real estate. I have a few series on the channel that I definitely wouldn't want you guys to miss. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss those. But until next time, take care.